everybody, and welcome to Made Unmade, the podcast where I go back in time to the films that didn't get made and also the ones that did get made. And today's special is a little special, so to speak. I'm sitting here with my great friend Jakob Cedergren, and we're going to talk about the movie Steppenwolves. That was my graduation film from the Danish Film School. And as I said to Jakob, I will not go so much into what happened before Steppenwolves, because that is probably an episode in itself of despair and so on. But now we're talking in 2004, and
I thought it was 5.
Yes, you thought it was 5.
I thought it was 5, already there.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
It was 2004,
All right.
and I was supposed to make actually another graduation movie that was called Sleep Revolution. We're getting some food here if you want to join us. Actually, we're sitting here in Skopje, Macedonia. That has been a home to me for 4 years. Now I moved back to Sweden last year, but me and Jakob eventually ran into each other here in Skopje, Macedonia, so we thought, hey, let's go back in time with Steppenwolves.
Of course.
So, I had this story originally about a man, right? It was a man coming home.
Yep.
I was stripped out of everything else, story-wise. I didn't have any ideas. My synapses had burnt, and it was like, I'm gonna make a man coming home. And then people were like, oh, sounding great. But what is gonna be about? A man coming home.
Busted.
This is what I was saying. And I was working on this script it was all The Shining over it, that I was sitting every day trying to write this homecoming story, and every day around page 10 I gave up and then started from the start next day.
Which is always easier. It's always easy to begin.
Yeah.
Opening.
But
car.
Yes.
Oh yes, here we go.
Man coming in a car, and so on, and so on. And so by the time actually when I finished the script of Steppenwolves, I had written maybe 40, 50 versions.
Are you serious?
Yes.
First time I know this.
Yeah.
First time I know this. And we should tell how many pages. It's like, was 40, 40 pages? 30, 40 pages.
Because
okay.
The graduation films are approximately...
So there is like 500 pages of this story lying around. Amazing.
And then there was this thing, right, that of course I was looking for my leading man, and the actor for this. And
this is where Macedonia comes back into it, which is crazy.
Actually, and I knew who Jakob was, but I was also kind of insecure because somebody has told me, I will tell you who told me in the end of the show, of this show, who told me that Jakob is playing half, with half like this from the waist until the head.
Without legs.
Yeah.
Without
without
the dick?
Yeah, no, just half, okay? And I was kind of curious about this because I was like, no, he's a great actor, and I could understand this. Maybe it was like a metaphor, not like don't hire him, but I was curious to see if he could do the opposite. And Jakob came in and did the casting and really blew me away. And tell us a little bit how you came into it. We take it from there.
Okay, cool. So I can't remember we did a casting actually. First of all, but now that you say it, now I remember. No, so here it starts for me. I'm in Reykjavik, Iceland, because I was doing a thing up there, and this is the first time I speak to you. And you call me, and I'm walking the streets in Reykjavik, and like always, like weather changing, always like I think it was my first time there, and it's an amazing place. And I remember like you had this kind of there was this attitude to the voice. You're going like the voice was like saying, I really, I guess I have to call you then, and like, hello, my name is Johan, and I'm doing like and I was wondering if you I guess then you invited me for a casting then, I reckon.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes.
But it was like, it had this attitude about it, which was funny. I just remember, I was like, yeah, okay, see you then. Okay, boom. But then we met, apparently at the casting. Yeah, but now But what was the casting? Was it
But
just me, or was it with somebody?
Yeah, I think
No,
it
was just me.
Just maybe no, it was not like this. The thing was
remember
like this, that it was not a big casting as such, because
No, it was-
I was taking you and Lai, who was also in the film.
Right, and
who
we
is,
did some scenes.
No,
No.
you, the two of you, came in for casting.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Together.
I think
No, separately. Okay.
And I think it was like with Patricia Schumann or Anna Fabricius, who was reading reading to you.
Okay.
And then after this casting, I was kind of like, should I cast Jakob as the guy who's having the birthday and is coming home, or
The
the
guy
main
who
role,
is at home, yeah.
coming home? And I choose you. And the funny thing was also, I remember you said on the phone was like, yeah, sounds very much like a Måns Rukov story. This like, and I said, what? What do you mean? A man coming home? And I'm like,
Did I say that?
yeah, you said this.
Funny this. It's so funny
Very
what
much
people
the
remember
natural-
that you don't remember
yeah,
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
weird.
And you said, oh, very much natural story over this, because Måns Rukov, the famous
legendary teacher of
the
Danish
best
film school.
of them all, he was always teaching us about this, the natural story, which came out of Måns' own struggles with, how to say, writer's block, and to embrace.
He was a character, you wouldn't believe.
He was like, he's also coming into the story later.
Yeah, for sure.
But Måns, he always talked about the natural story, how to kind of find a natural story, and then you have these kind of archetypal stories, and one of them is the hero's journey coming home.
But didn't he say also that there's like only two stories? Somebody coming home or somebody leaving?
Yes.
If I remember, somebody told me this, that he nailed it down to this. This is all stories are like these two.
And this film is somehow that film. It's a
for
man
sure.
coming home.
Oh, it's classic.
But it's what the film turns out to be is a man who's leaving, because all
It ends with him
graduation.
leaving.
I have a theory about these graduation films that goes from everybody from Trier to Winterberg to somebody later, 10 years later, like myself, and also now, is that all graduation films is about breaking free.
Yeah.
And naturally, after being
Makes
4
sense.
years in the Danish film school,
Yeah, you want out.
you want out.
Yeah.
And for me, this was also like, because, like I previously told, my synapses kind of burnt. I probably still smelled burnt when me and Jakob met. Was that I had to say to myself, okay, I have to kind of start digging again, doing what I kind of came from, not a failure, but a sense of failure, because I couldn't finish the original graduation film.
Sure.
And then I was with this homecoming story, so I was like, okay, I have to do what I'm good at, working with actors, building the characters, do
Sure.
some really powerful stuff here.
Yeah.
Because you also only have 14 days to do this.
Yeah. No, it's
like
intense.
pulling
Yeah.
off a heist or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And then you came in to the project, and actually how we did it was also after I casted you and I started to cast the rest of the cast. So
Yeah, well, you cast it, but we were talking about it because you were asking me, and then I gave my
but you were also in on the castings with Charlotte Gullberg, who played Anja, and Mette. You were in on all these castings.
Yeah. But I remember you had some ideas, and you said like, what and
we tested
and
different.
we kind of like
actors.
we talked about it because once it was kind of, it's always nice this, you do your casting and everything, and it's always kind of special because you go and do what you can do during the casting, but then one is like when it's settled and done, then you really can start working, because it's kind of like, okay, got that out of the way. And I remember very much how we because this is also, it's one of my things, the script is very important. It always has been, because if you don't have the script, you won't fix it like on the set or in the editing, or I mean, if there's something where you read your script and go like, no, I don't know, and it doesn't feel right, you will feel the same when you shoot it, and you will feel the same when you edit it. It's for goddamn sure. Just to tell anybody out there, that script is really that's the whole fundament. And I remember we worked a lot with Ina, who was who was great also. Yeah. And it's always about the dramaturgy of the story and stuff, and it's but I remember that the way our working together was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
fluid
also and
very freeing experience for me to meet Jakob, because he told me then when we started it, he came from this kind of. You were on a great role. You were doing this with Dagur Kari. You had also made this Rembrandt, I think, previously.
Yeah.
So you were kind of like up and coming and on a good role. But he said something very important to me, that you got to remember to have fun. And for me, who came out of sitting on my chamber, who had kind of,
no fun
with
at
the
all.
with the cyanide pill in my mouth, this was so liberating that we, went back to this kind of, for me, what filmmaking is about, to make it, to make it play and to make it, playful.
Yeah.
Also in terms of how it came about with Fredrik Jacobi, who is a
great
fantastic,
DOP.
maybe one of the best DOPs in the world.
Really good.
Right? And Fredrik also, I remember you and me and Fredrik, we had a really, this kind of good, solid trio, director of photography and actor, which was kind of like playing music,
for sure.
Also.
Very good cast also, I mean, in every role, in all, I mean, from top to bottom. It was just the whole production had a really good, it was fun, and just had a good energy about it, and everybody wants to, kick ass, and and it was cool.
No, but then also I remember what was really like a breakthrough for me, how it was written, was also that we went, we casted, it was Jakob, it was Lai Yde, it was Micke Wassholt, very fine actor, Mas Ville. Yeah. This was the old gang kind of. Yeah. So the story is that they have beaten a guy down, drunken, punch drunk.
We should say also we're in a small town in Denmark. Not far. Yeah, which is an hour outside of Copenhagen.
Yes.
Which is like kind of hardcore. There's this one old factory thing that kind of like is this reason for this city, and so it's this little small society kind of, So this is where it takes place.
Obviously, I tried to find Herrljunga, in Denmark,
which is where you come from.
Yeah, where I
come
from. And it took.
Well, you did pretty well.
But it took us so long. I remember me and Fred. We basically drove through all of Sjælland because the film had to be on Sjælland.
Yeah.
So we was in every godforsaken town you can believe in Denmark. I have seen.
Cool.
And, I have been
seen
doing
a lot.
scouting on that one, right?
Yeah.
But we felt all the time that it was not, how to say, small enough, because we wanted also this
a little bit trashy and stuff, right?
In a way, we wanted an industrial town, but a lot of these industrial towns, they don't even exist anymore in Denmark.
Exactly.
And then you have in Faxelæreplads, as it's called, you have these like two industries. It's beer and it's chalk, white chalk.
Yeah.
And we, of course, got the idea and got friends with the guys who had the factory, that they would all work on this chalk factory.
Like Deer Hunter style feeling, right?
Yeah, Deer Hunter was a good reference also because it's all like that. Jakob, he's doing time for his friends. They've beaten a guy down.
Right.
And so he gets out of prison a little bit early on parole for good behavior. And nobody expects him to come back to this town.
Exactly.
And the same day as he's coming back, his best friend is turning 30.
Exactly.
Right?
Big party.
And he thinks that everything is just the way how it was 2.5 years, merry-go-round, tra-la-la-la-la. And he comes back.
Surprise!
And all his friends have become, how to say, normal.
Yeah.
They have stopped going out on bars and this, that. They all bought houses on loans and
moved on in life.
And nobody told him.
No.
Nobody told him anything.
No.
So we have this kind of guy who expects also his girlfriend Anya, everything to be the same kind of, right? That he surprises them, and nothing is quite the same.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Everything changed, and the girlfriend's gone
Yeah.
with his best friend,
Yeah, but
who he took the penalty for.
yeah, exactly.
Right. So it couldn't be worse.
Exactly. But then I also remember that I think it was first or second day when actually Jakob then discovers the character's name is also Jakob in the movie.
Yeah.
He discovers that the girlfriend is now together with his best friend, and I remember Jakob had this full-on, all this disappointment and this physicality that this brings to this caged man who is now out. And you and I, we talked about it before, and you didn't want to kind of rehearse it. And then you had this.
Was that a specific scene?
Yeah, that was a specific scene when he is kind of like.
When he finds
saying,
out.
Yeah, he finds out.
All right.
He finds out by not by asking her, but he understands.
Yeah, exactly.
At this moment, he's home with her, drinking a beer.
Right.
And she doesn't want to tell him.
No.
And he of gets. He has to discover it by himself.
Yeah. No, I remember this, and I remember also the thing, and this is sometimes when you have something that, this is like a special moment or a very, let's call it a aha moment or something. Yeah, if it feels right, it can be good to kind of try to just have a go at it without any rehearsing, just because you get first time you give it a go, just in case if you really hit it on the nail. Yeah. It's such a shame if the camera's not rolling, know.
Yeah. And I think it was a big help also that before we started shooting, we were doing some kind of boot camp with the actors hanging out in Faxeladeplatz. And what we learned from this was that I had to tell everybody.
I wasn't though, because I was the character who was not.
Yeah, but you were in these flashbacks.
But I came. Yeah. No, I remember. But I remember you were all living together, and I remember you asked me like, "Hey man, come down, man. We're living in this house. It's gonna be great." And I was like, I think also for practical reasons and stuff, I couldn't. But then it also turned out there was one there who had some kind of stomach flu that just then went around the whole house.
Oh, the director's assistant.
You all got this like huge stomach flu, and like everybody and I was
throwing up. It was like a puke fest.
It was like
fest in the back
it's
of
one
the
of
car.
these 24-hour viruses, and I just remember thinking, it was the right choice,
But you were there as well.
I was, but I was back and forth.
When we did these flashbacks for the movie, when they were all great friends together, right? What I got out from this was that I had to tell the actors, because then it was good, but it felt a little bit like smart inner city actors coming to Faxeladeplatz.
Yeah.
But what was good about seeing that during the rehearsals was that everybody understood that we're gonna have to pull this down.
Yeah. That's why you rehearse,
make it more.
Yeah, and these characters because it is a different way to because all these actors lived in Copenhagen, and it is a different demeanor to people who are living like in small towns and stuff. Yeah.
In the temple.
Yeah. It's just the way, the jargon, the way to. I don't know. There's something about it, and these details that you can see because this is why it's good to rehearse. But I remember also we had a very thorough running through the script, you and me, and Ina, which is also just again to say to anybody who's, that like you do in theater, you have a reading and rehearsals and stuff, but this reading and also important to do it from the start to the end.
Yeah.
This is really good because then you move together and you sit together and do it. And then you go through the journey together, so that when you hit the set, you're kind of like in sync.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to have discussions on set what the scene's about, or it could be. This you should do because this you can do in the kitchen. This is a nice place to do it, and I sit and go. It's a very nice process also because you find out stuff every time. And
Yeah, and I think we all almost went it through this thoroughly, like. Also, just like run through that we understand what every scene should tell.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I remember
At the
we
same
had
time,
this
you find out
moment-
how you
yeah,
work together.
yeah.
When you have like discussion debates, like where it's like, but you get to know each other also, like, which is, I think, yeah, it's.
Yeah, and also
it's a great-
listening, because then
No,
when
you
have
were very
found
good at this.
common ground of listening.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember actually we talked through this scene that I'm also describing now in the car the day before, just you and me.
Yeah.
We went through it all.
Mm.
So actually, when we step on set, we kind of have a very good idea what we want to do.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And then we had, like with Fred, me and Fred had a saying called like "prepare to get lucky."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you kind of prepare so much, so you are.
So you can improvise.
Yeah, so you
To
can
say the
improvise
Bergman's
by
thing.
being very, very clear about what you want to achieve in every scene, and that was, I think, for me a very big help, and also pretty fast. I understood after 1 or 2 days that this film is gonna be, because I think one of the reasons why I went down was like everybody is confronted with this at the film school, right? That I'm gonna make the best graduation film ever.
Yeah, pressure
And
is
you know,
on.
that is fine. Pressure is on, right? But the main thing, what you forget in this process, is that you must also find your way of, you know, enjoying what you do, and also kind of, if you want to make it good, then you have to bring it to the table for everybody, not for just you. Because that I had done the mistake before, like
You did everything
sitting and
you-
being a genius on my chamber, you know.
Yeah.
And here,
No, it's horrible.
it was very.
Or-
I knew that I had a great movie on my hand
Yeah.
when we did
to
it
give
together,
trust, yeah,
you
give
know,
trust,
in
yeah.
in a collective where everybody's, you know.
Yeah, trust the
somehow-
people you
yeah,
hire.
Yeah.
You know, if you hire good set designer, good costume designer,
Yeah.
the people do magic. I read, I think it was interview with Jim Jarmusch telling about one of his films where he had this idea, and then the rest he went to the DOP and to the
Yeah.
and they, but these people that he knew, or you know, thought, and they contributed to the whole thing, and voila, you know, this is I had no, I
No,
thought
but
that he was.
As such, I think it was a great experience that I had before that. You know, that you learn as your director. You can do nothing at
Sure.
on your own.
Yeah.
But many directors think this.
Just
seem
be a
to
leader
think-
of the whole. Yeah, no,
think this.
I
But,
reckon. I
it-
think this is because so many stories about directors
yeah,
who are,
yeah.
which is fair enough. There are some also who are. I mean, I think also it can depend. I mean, go with every project and see how you feel, right?
Yeah.
But one thing that's for sure, that's really pressure is bad for you
Yeah.
in every process.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
really try to avoid it because
Yeah.
it kills your.
Yeah.
It chokes.
No, but
A lot of things.
it was freeing coming back to
It's
this
hard.
Faxeladeplatz, coming to this small town, you know,
That place was insane.
insane place, right?
Also
And
because we
tell
were
us a
hanging
little
out with
bit
the
about-
locals. This was also beautiful. I mean, you have a way which I also like found was fascinating. I mean, you come a place and you are very open-minded and very generous and very loving towards everybody. And this goes back. I mean, so we were filming at this bodega.
Yeah.
The local.
Shannon's
and-
Bodega, yeah.
Oh man! And local joints in these cities are, I mean, they're the real deal.
Yeah,
And they were in the film, and they threw like, was it like in the middle or the last day party?
Yeah.
But-
In the middle of the film.
In the middle of the film. I mean, they could drink and oh my god. But they were fantastic, and they're in the film and they're kicking.
They could not only drink, they could also perform Madonna's.
Oh yeah, they had a karaoke bar.
A karaoke
Oh,
bar,
man.
right? So they also did these great karaoke covers.
They
where
were amazing.
Where they
Were they sisters or just friends? Because it was two
friends,
ladies,
I think also they.
two women who had the bar, right?
They button up also.
Right.
It was a great experience, and they were also saying, you know, that in a way, it turned out like I wanted to, because Faxeladeplatz, you know, we befriended all the people from there, so all the local municipality was there, kind of
Yeah.
involved as extras and this and that. And the good thing when you're in this small town, it's almost like you have a huger film set, you know, you
Yeah,
can go
yeah.
between locations,
Yeah.
right? And then in the opening,
And the whole city knows you're there.
yeah, yeah. And in the opening shot of the film, you see this Jakob and Peter, his best friend, and Mikael Westholt. You see them beat this guy up
Yeah,
that eventually
yeah.
leads to prison, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
And then the people, they were saying like this after we did this scene where they beat this poor guy that was played by Thomas Knut Winterfeldt, great actor.
Yeah.
They were beating him, right? Up totally brutal in the opening scene.
Yeah.
And they were like, afterwards, the people with the bodega, they were like, that's nothing. That's nothing. You know what happened last weekend? They took off the door from this place and were beating a guy until he was hospitalized with it.
Oh my God.
You know.
Yeah. It's not always I mean, it's nice to come visit. It's fantastic, but you can also tell them. I mean, it's hardcore.
They were nice people.
They were super nice people, but it's hardcore joints. These, I mean,
Yes, definitely.
people are.
Not for
I mean,
children.
no,
For sure.
no.
And then, of course, then there is this grand party in the film also, right? Where Jakob is coming in to this party where he's not invited, and he's kind of understanding that all of them.
Yeah, this is where he reacts to everything.
He
talked
must
about
react
this. Yeah,
because he's under like and
everything's been taken away from him, and he can't fit in, and he doesn't have a home anymore.
Exactly.
Kind
That's also a big thing, and he also understands at that point that he will never get the girl he loves.
No.
He will not get anybody or anything anymore. And actually, the town is more or less freezing him out. You know, so it's in a way also somehow becoming that oddball character who used to be in the center of everything, and
exactly.
now you're
Outcast.
complete no one.
Yeah.
And how was that?
What, to act it?
No, yeah, that.
No, it was a great
from-
part. No,
Yeah.
I remember. It was a thrill to do because I remember the story was really good. The situations and sceneries were really cool.
Yeah. And it
It
kind
was
of
a
happened.
classic story, you know. This is for an actor always fun to do, like, because it's like cliches everything, you know. What and but there was something special about it, and I think both because it was the graduation production, which means, I mean, that's a good energy, man. People want to do good and really good people on the set. But also this crew of actors who kind of like, and this is credit to the director always to be able to make this this feeling of like you feel that you're welcomed and it's nice to be there and stuff, you know, and you feel appreciated in what you do, and the more you do that with actors, the more they'll give to you of and you did. I mean, it was a great production. We had fun, and we did scenes where you go leave a scene and say like, awesome, you know, felt good, and you were sometimes
out of my cage, so to speak.
well, sometimes you really. I remember one scene where he calls. I think it's towards the end where he kind of like he calls up his old girlfriend and kind of like goes, "Okay, man, I'll see." It's a kind of breakup thing and a goodbye. And I'm in a car, and then I see you coming from behind the monitor, and you're like crying your fucking ears out and eyes out, and just like. And I don't know, because I don't know if you were going through something or whatever.
It was last day.
It was the last day. Okay, so it was everything at once.
Full on release.
But it was. I remember we were cracked up laughing at the same time, you know, which was just hilarious. It was so honest and it was like so crazy, but beautiful, nice, you know. Come on, it's
And it is this heartbreaking scene, like the day after the party, when he's trying one last time to kind of saying, you know, doing that awkward phone. In those days, you had phone booths, which I was a master of. You know, I was a master of phone booths.
Phone booths are good.
And I wanted this kind of breakup scene, you know, where you have this.
It was a phone booth scene,
the
right?
loneliness of breaking up with somebody, because that had been kind of my reality also. You know, in those days, and also the loves that I had in those days had been this phone booth breakups, you know. You have 0 credits left. You don't have any change.
Right.
But then I wanted it to be about everything in this banal kind of one phone call, right?
Yeah.
And I also, it was in this scene I remember because, you know, I'm a man of feelings and emotion. So it was also, I think, in the script that it says something like this: Jakob cries, right?
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
a lot of talks about this because
Yeah.
I understand it also from the good thing about working with Jakob was that he has some kind of balance to because actors tend to become very emotional when I work with them, and I kind of like endorse it, so they become full on emotional, right? Where everything is on the outside, where I think our collaboration, we found this nice balance between actually being this full person, not the half, not play with the half, that you did it with everything, but also with...
I don't do half.
You know.
I don't know who said this. I'm gonna find out. Is it D-E?
What?
Is it D-E?
No.
Okay.
Anyhow, then you were doing this, and at the same time as you were crying and hang up, getting beat up, and then he's leaving Faxeladeplatz forever in this
in a very, very awesome car.
In a very awesome car.
This was awesome
decided
car.
Since the beginning, you know, also for your listeners who listened to the last episode about nunning, actually the whole character of Jakob Ludin came actually to that script, and then he was kind of waiting for me after I had my breakdown, saying like, you want to make a movie about me instead? Kind of the character,
yeah.
Right? And then Jakob was burning away in this Dodge Challenger, this very cool vintage vintage car.
Cool. Super cool.
And there was a rainbow coming out.
Right.
You know.
Right. It's by the sea, this city.
Yeah. And
actually.
Jakob was just driving away with the car, and the guy who had borrowed his gemstone.
He was also a funny
He was
character.
standing there, kind of nervous because you didn't come back. You just burned away.
Yeah, exactly.
Burned out of Faxeladeplatz.
Exactly.
Fuck you all.
Killing
I'm
it.
not coming back. I'm a Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back.
No. What was the name of the young woman in it?
We must talk about her.
We must talk about her because she was amazing.
Now it comes to this also, like in the story. So Jakob goes to this his friend's 30th birthday. Nobody kind of wants him there. It ends up in catastrophe. He's thrown out. Everything ends in kind of disaster. He meets the sister that is called in the film called Nina, and played by Mette Riber Kristoffersen.
Right.
Excellent actor, fantastic. She was 18 when she did this.
Incredible character.
You know, incredible character, and also.
I mean, her as a person also. I mean, she was really.
Her as a person was also because I remember before we were gonna do the.
She had done another film before, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Where she was super good.
A kind of film called The Raw Zone, about young hardcore teenage girls, and she also did a nice midterm movie with my fellow class student.
Yeah.
But I remember when I casted her for this role, I was sitting because her boyfriend at that point was, I think he had been to prison and was this kind of hardcore guy.
Okay.
And he was kind of reading.
I remember he was jealous.
Reading through the script, and he says like, "Oh, but it says here she is going to bed with him. You know, you have to talk to me first and this and that."
Yeah.
But then Mette did something very courageous. He said to this guy, "All right, I'm not going to be with you. You're not going to dictate what I'm doing." And she went full on in as this character.
Yeah, no, she did great. I remember she was like thinking about, do I want to be an actor, because she liked it, but I think at the same time she also could sense the what kind of life it also is, right? And I mean,
Mette is a great actor, and
no, she was fantastic.
Think she's a painter now.
Oh, really?
She's a painter, yeah.
All right.
I mean, like painting houses.
That kind of painter,
professionally.
Oh,
but I know she's still working, you know.
Yeah.
And she really gave it as this punk.
But you found her through that other film that she did. It was on the film school, right? Or was it?
Yeah. But I had because in every one of these small towns.
Well, she's
right?
one of those talents that's like well spotted, you know. Somebody finds them first, and then they, you know, because they're so good, because they have something. It's just because she was not trained or anything. It's just a natural gift of just being able to be there. The camera likes her, and so forth, you know. And
but the main thing was maybe also like she, in every small town they have this punk girl or a punk boy.
Yeah. That was her part. She was this outsider in town.
Yes, and you know, in the film, Jakob is actually caring about wanting to be a part of this collective again. You know, he's an outsider now, a Steppenwolf, so he wants to get in, right? But must understand that he can't anymore. But this girl, she's like, I don't give a fuck. I might be from here.
Yeah, she's lonely too.
She's lonely too.
Yeah.
So therefore, of course, in the end,
nice.
They have to go away together.
Yeah.
You know.
That's it.
She's saying like, "Where are you going?"
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe we'll go to the hospital. And after that, I don't know. I'm just gonna get out of here. All right. Can I join you?
Exactly.
You know? And that's the end of the film, actually, that the two of them joins. You know?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde style. In a way, also homage to the nunning story, but in a totally different way. But yeah, Bonnie and Clyde, you can say.
Well, you could imagine what they do.
These characters, you know,
they were super. And it's because it's a western in many senses. Also, this film.
Yeah.
It's a western movie.
Yeah, that's a western.
Riding back into town and like lots of stories and what happened and the whole shebang.
And the
classic,
funny thing
nice.
goes also with Moens, when Moens watched the film, right? And the first cut was 1 hour and 12 minutes, so it was almost a feature film.
Yeah.
And people saw it who had worked on film school forever, you know, since the Tria days. They were like, this is the best first cut I ever seen of a film. But that was also kind of like, how to say, testament to that we knew what we were doing, and in a way also let things happen along the way. So there was some improvisational stuff.
Oh man,
but,
a lot.
You know, a lot in the film, right? So actually, this cut, and the funny thing about this cut later on is that for 15 years this has been the editing practice for for the ones who have gone to the National Film School for 3 years.
Ah, cool.
Then they get the directors, the producers, and the editors, I think.
Yeah.
They get the task to take my film, Steppenwolf, the 1 hour and 12-minute version, and to cut it down to a 30-minute graduation movie.
Nice.
Because for our sake, it was more like, okay, how are we gonna get? We have to take 30 minutes out.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It's hard.
It was also a process, but
especially the last minute or so. I remember people telling when they really did it, and then you miss like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Or a minute if you do something for. If it's television or something where they're super strict, no, it's like 42 minutes point. I don't know what, it's ridiculous, but not so much anymore. But it used to be like that with something, and then the hardest is the last minute or two. It's like just what kills you because it just But here it was, of course. But there was also a thing about graduation films in general, because one of the things, the tendencies can be that the people, because of course they're so eager to do the feature, and everybody has a feature in their mind, and it's really a hard task to make, because a story which is 40 minutes or 40 minutes, you can't do the feature things. You have to. There's a different dramaturgic kind of challenge.
That is what makes it so fucking hard
it's really
to make
hard.
the graduation film, because the format you want from the format of 30 minutes.
Easier to make a short, maybe.
You want the same catharsis.
Yeah, you want everything.
The same impact. You only have this short span and short shield of time to kind of
one big event. That's
so
it.
you also have to be, let's say, even more precise than you are normally.
But that's where this story comes to. I mean, where it gives good gift, being so simple as it is, because simplicity is key. I mean, that is key. And
that was so hard to.
It is it is for a reason, but this was, because he's coming home, finds out everything's different, freaks out at the party, you know, reacts,
Yeah.
and then leaves.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And the rest is just, you know, filling. But we had, yeah. So,
And it
oh,
was
that's cool.
It was also this. I remember.
But I have to say one
Yeah,
thing though
yeah.
about, no, it's this because we missed this about the
Ramon's
choosing.
story
No,
also.
the choosing of me. And I still look forward to hear who this person is. No, but anyway, but I remember you told me years
But it
later.
was not meant as a bad thing.
No, okay,
You know.
fine. No, it's the no, but I remember you told me years later that when you were like thinking about like actors, and there was one friend of yours,
Yeah.
director,
Daniel Espinosa. Yes.
Daniel Espinosa, who's been in to see a play
Yes.
that I did
Exactly.
by a group called the Mammoth Theater in Copenhagen, and they did a play by the North Macedonian playwright Dejan Dukovsky,
Yeah.
which is why we're here in
Balkan's,
Skopje.
Balkan Shakespeare.
One of the
right?
a truly great writer, and I did a part in that, and he saw that, and he then told you, "Listen, man,
Exactly.
you should maybe check this dude out," because. And so it's funny because here we are in Skopje
It was exactly
because of
like
Dejan.
that. No, but the thing you have to think about it. You know what I had seen you in the Spider Files, or what is it called?
Yeah,
Spider in-
no, just a spider. Yeah, I don't know what it's called in English,
I've
but
only
yeah,
seen the Spider Files.
Yeah, just a
and
spider,
I
not the
also
files.
seen
Just a
a
spider.
midterm film. A midterm film by Kasper Gårdström, I call
Oh
it,
yeah.
called The Third
in
Man,
in the prison. Yeah,
which was kind of good, right?
yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
only kind of seen this,
Mm.
so of course I didn't know
No,
what
no,
you
no.
were capable of as an actor, right?
No, you didn't know me.
But
I mean, it's,
so, and I said, because I remember I wanted this kind of character who was kind of unpredictable and
Yeah,
wild,
yeah.
could do that, and at the same time being, you know, local dude, kind
Yeah.
of, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
both
Yeah.
extravagant and also at the same and you know, this punk style, up yours kind of style, combined with this.
who you
kind
gonna
of-
call?
Who are you gonna call? Jakob Cedergren. No, and
Yeah.
then Daniel, I said, I'm not sure, because I was standing between, should I take Lai as this Jakob or
Yeah.
Jakob as Jakob?
Yeah,
And then my friend Espinosa said, you know, Jakob can be so wild, you know. I saw him in this Bure Barut, this powder cake.
Powder Cage is a play.
And
Fantastic
you know,
play.
there he hitchhiked a bus and then showed everybody his ass afterwards.
Hijack. But
You know, I was like, whoa, all right, he can do that.
Yeah.
Sure thing, I
And
hire
this-
him. You know.
yeah.
So maybe that's why it didn't
Oh,
seem
you
like a
did-
casting.
You
Yeah.
did no, but you did the call and we met and stuff and no, we have to meet and.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the casting. It's funny this. I have no, because I remember the phone call. I remember us sitting with Ina and like going through the script and everything, mostly, and then the shoot and the whole.
Yeah,
whole
because
shebang.
first time I had met you in the film school, Katina, but then I was, because probably then your Swedish was so rusty, so I was like, who is this guy sitting in talking almost perfect Swedish,
Yeah,
but kind of
yeah.
not with a Danish melody?
Comes with the story. We're both Swedish,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but I lived in Denmark since I was 6. But you came for film school, right?
Yeah.
But we were both Swedish, and so already there also something. So we spoke Swedish together.
Yeah, and I
Always.
think one thing that you know, it's not like an advice, but what I think is very common, or doesn't matter how you do it, but I think what we did find was the musicality together
sure,
of
for
the
sure.
story, the rhythm of the story, the rhythm of the characters. You know, then it was not so much talking about this and that. It was
No.
about what we actually could do, Jakob. I think was we found because we're both coming from music, both you and I. We found some kind of musicality to it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and one of the best things I heard was from Hans-Erik Philip, the composer, who was a very, very big fan of the film. He was like, to me, this is like a great, you know, it's like the simplest story, but it's like a Bob Dylan song. You know, it's like
Ah,
could be
nice.
like a record. This could be like a record, the ballad the Ballad of Jakob Cedergren.
Cool. Yeah.
Kind of. And that was very good because
Yeah.
also, like you said, it was in a way very simple Western, but
Totally.
I also had this feel to you, kind of like, let me tell you a thing or two about this guy who just broke out of prison, you know.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant.
And I think what the film actually managed to do was this, that it's called Steppenwolves and not Steppenwolf, is that all these characters are kind of lonely.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
And also that is one thing that you have to probably face when you're getting older. I was 25 at the time I made it.
Yeah, and I was 29, 30, yeah.
The loneliness of being grown up. all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
he comes back kind of
No,
like
true,
thinking that
very
they
true.
can be young.
Never thought
still,
about that,
you
but
know.
that's what happened. People got married. He was in jail.
Yeah.
He missed out on a
Missed
couple
out
of
on
years.
life, of the
Missed out,
normal
like
life.
what you do, like jail. Just put like Arrested Development. He comes back and everybody else grown up, and he's, where the fuck am I? And there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the title? Has it anything to do with the book by Herman Hesse? Or
Yeah, the only title it was from that during my kind of breakdown period, or sitting yak all play and no fun makes yak a dull boy period. I was every day doing this routine, going up, drinking one coffee, taking one book at random from my bookshelf. Reading one sentence, throw the book over my shoulder to a growing pile of stack of books, and then writing my 10 pages, man coming to town, etc. And
it's a movie of its own.
then after doing this 40 days, you know, so the film could have been called anything. It could have been called Crime and Punishment, or I don't know,
Exactly.
something else at random, which book I took up.
Just make a film that starts over and over and over, just so everybody can feel how it feels.
Yes, it starts again and again.
Starts again and again. You just go, well, we finish it, fuck's sake.
Yeah. And then one day, I picked up a book that I didn't throw over my shoulder. I started to read it again, Steppenwolf by
Really?
Herman Hesse.
Hesse.
And what I read previously, when I read Herman Hesse, it had been, you know, a story about a lonely guy who is becoming some kind of animal and going to this theater only for the crazy and stuff like this. But reading it now was reading a fucking diary of where I was, you know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this, and then
incredible.
sit here and play, and, you
Incredible.
know, writing the same story of it. This is the Steppenwolves.
And then
You know.
you succeeded to write it through?
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, keep searching and
So-
you will find.
Yeah,
Don't give up. It's hard, man.
It's hard, man.
You enter a lot of like dead end streets.
So many
And
of your mind,
and
of
it's-
yourself,
it's-
of your being in general, right?
Yeah. I feel like shit.
But
Worthless and
what I was happy about, that the experience, what it comes out, and I'm also happy that the two of them go in the end, right? Also, like
perfect
my
ending.
professor Mogens Rukov, he said
Right.
when he loved this film, and when he was watching the first edit, he was like, such a great movie, you know, such a great movie. Mogens was always talking from the heart. And then he liked, of course, that they were drinking a lot.
Yeah.
He got a little bit thirsty.
he
And
liked
I
to
was
drink
like,
a little bit too.
do you want a beer? Yes, I would love to. And then he was like, it's so lovely movie, you know, it's such a wondrous movie. And it's also so great, wondrous. Why do you say this? I say, because he also goes to bed with two women the same night. So nice. Two girls in the same night.
I wonder if he could how would have went with him today under the new kind of. He was very special.
But
He was a
Mogens
very
was
special
also
man.
saying this. He actually he was very good, because he said, when I came with the script to him, he said, like, this is an interesting script because we all know this story, but how you unfold this story,
It's what it's about.
it's like a crab coming, and for every scene it's kind of reaching the, you know, because Mogens tried to kind of teach us these archetypal scenes, you know, you know, that every film has a meeting, a goodbye, a preparation, you know, a hunt, you know, these things, because Mogens noticed what made these classic films from the 70s, let's say The Godfather and these the great new wave American cinema, was that they actually had these archetypal scenes, spending a lot of time for people arriving, going, for people doing who are supposed to do these very simple acts, and they're within, because and I remember also Kersten Tromberg told us this, like, you're here, the students, we were only 6 in my class, right, and they took it in every second year. They were like, you're here because you are good naturally at drama. This is in your instincts. This we can't teach you, he said.
Right.
But what we can teach you is kind of like the brickwork that leads up to the drama. Because what most people want to do is like fire off the drama and then no movie, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, exactly. It's like light and shadow being a painter.
Yeah.
It's the technique of storytelling.
And 3 years, and at the film
no matter
school,
what you want to do, you have to learn this, like that you can say it in the middle of the night, waking up. This is where I go, and here and that. This is like Aristotle. That's just it.
Yeah, and also then you don't have to try so hard. And I think like
it helps you.
3 years of film school, I was not understanding this fully until everything broke down, and I had to write Steppenwolves, which became somehow a very because it was everything but generic as a story, but then on the other hand, it's a story that we have seen 1,000 times, the hero's journey. The hero comes back in the,
But what is there? 7 stories, they say, right?
Yeah,
7 or 8?
I would argue with this, but
but not many.
You can say archetypal stories. It's this around this 7 to 10.
So it's all about how you do it.
Yeah.
And you do it like, because you do it in the present, you catch something that's in the air. It's also like when you know this, you have projects, and if you return to them, it's like with plays or books or whatever. Like if you return like 6 years later, you changed, your life changed, everything changed. Now this book's changed. Now this movie changed.
Yeah.
Now I understand it, or now I can see this. It's fascinating.
No, but
it is.
I had such my mind before I started writing Steppenwolves was so broken down, so I couldn't even see a feature film because I was only seeing clips. I remember I went in and saw Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, right? Yeah. And I was like an alien watching this show, right? I was like,
great movie for that state of mind.
Yeah, exactly. But it was horrible. I didn't understand it at all.
Also because it was so good.
I was like, it's just clips hanging together.
really narrowing it down.
Breakdown in this a narrow mind.
Then when you start thinking about what is actually making this come on the screen, then you should take a rest. No, intense.
No, but the great thing that I would like to thank you for, Jakob, then when we I can thank you now with the same gratitude now, was that what you brought at least to my reality then and have continued to do was that you said it has to be fun.
Okay,
and you said
funny.
this in a serious way to me, and I first didn't understand what everything gonna be like Donald Duck, but what you meant was actually I rediscovered my joy of filmmaking when we did this film.
Oh, cool.
So I came, and then a lot of my I think the good thing about having a breakdown before.
It's definitely a very good thing you had a breakdown before.
Yes, because
not during. Doesn't work,
Some
man.
of my classmates, and you could see them also later in the editing room, they had it then. By then, I had only broken down so hard. So for me, everything was a fucking cakewalk, I was so happy. Exactly. I was coming whistling to the editing room. Now you're gonna see Mr. Merlin make some magic again. And the story told also was like this. School was so worried about me. The school was so worried about me. So because everybody needs to make a graduation film, right?
Yeah.
But the school
they
was
thought
not,
you're not going to be able to do it.
They didn't. So they called in one of my colleagues and said, "Will you take this? Will you do the work? Because the other ones, the producer Mia Marie, Mia was great." Fredrik,
yeah, she was great,
the DOP, Morten Ville, who was doing the sound, and Camilla Ebling, who was the editor.
Right.
All of them at the film
was
school.
great, huh? Camilla Ebling.
Camilla Ebling did
Good
tremendous
job.
job.
Good job.
She was doing the best job I've
good
ever seen
people.
an editor make. And
Good.
you know,
just good. Everybody, man.
everybody
DOP.
did the optimal thing.
Yeah.
We must also talk a little bit about this. That there was this one of the last days. Then Jakob is getting beaten up by the day after the 30th birthday.
Yeah.
So he's getting beaten up by his old friends. You know, kind of like, get the fuck out of our town. You know, take your car.
Don't mess up.
You know.
Yeah.
And we were gonna do this, and we had rehearsed it. We had stuntmen and everything, and then we don't wanted to do it so realistically as possible. And I remember you also telling me this because you had this pad, right?
Oh right, yeah.
And
yeah.
Jakob had this experience from the midterm movie that Kasper Gårdsjö was doing, where David Ove beat him, who was supposed to be the stuntman as well, beat him so hard by the ribs.
No, it was an
accident. Of course, it's
it was an accident, but it was a kidney.
Kidney.
So
kidney punch,
now
kidney punch.
And now I understand what fighters talk about when they say if you're hit clean in the kidney, the light goes out.
Yeah.
I never tried anything like
it's
it.
a reason.
And it's in the film also, in this little midterm film.
Yeah.
Because after that, because before that I did because he's a guard and he has to punch me to settle me down, and I did like the first 2 takes where you go like you do the face and everything, and then all of a sudden he hit me in the kidney, and it's like, and the director Kasper came out afterwards. Wow, that was astonishing. And when you
because you actually see on film
it's
how
only
the
in the eyes.
The light
It's
goes
only
out.
in the eyes.
Only in Jakob's
Only
eyes.
in the eyes.
Only in Jakob's eyes.
You can't
see
play
the,
that
the
shit.
pupil going very small.
Yeah, you can't play that shit.
And not a sound like this.
Yeah.
Going down.
If you want to know how it looks, that's the clip right there. Yeah. So what happened with the pads?
No, so you had this.
So I had a little trauma going.
And you and Lai had some kind of story together that you had directed him. In a play.
Yeah.
You were colleagues, but you were afraid because Lai is also a very great actor, and he kind of went. It must also be said about to Lai's cadeau. Also, he also came very well prepared for the character of Peter. Lai came with a map. It was laying out like this on the table, right?
Yeah.
Where he had put, and this is also to all of you, if you ever get to play the supporting character, what he did that was great was that he was doing it, of course, from his point of view, with his turn, and therefore he make a very great character. But then also, it's not only the ending scene for Jakob, and he beats him up a little bit. It's kind of, how to say, statement from the whole town and also from his character.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
And you said to me, we have,
probably wanted it to be precise and safe.
To do it very precise. We were standing there like rehearsing in slow motion. Jakob was supposed to be on all fours, getting the drop kick, not the kick in the stomach.
Yeah, right.
Falling, doing the flip.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And
classic
action.
Cowboy thing, right?
Yeah.
And me and Fred, we are all there, and we see it years before. Take that Lai's tag, It's gonna, and action, and it's, but the good thing was that we had actually rehearsed it, but it was, it was hard.
Oh man,
we only did one.
Yeah.
We did one of this.
You felt it,
But we felt it.
I felt it. Yeah. No, he was great.
And the thing I also wanted to say was that the great thing about me and Fred during these days, I mean, visually the film is great.
Absolutely.
And that was also due to that me and Fred, we had so good contact during the school. So we could, for example, decide for a shot. And then if it wasn't, we both knew it wasn't right, right before take. Then we were this flexible, we just had to see each other and he would know where to do without even show and tell.
No, he's
you know.
he's wild.
So great, so great.
Crazy good improviser. I mean, yeah.
And then also, I think we had cut to the kind of graduation of it. It was hailed as one of the best films that year, and you know, I think it set on some kind of something in people, because we all have the experience of being, you know, insiders who become outsiders somehow, belonging and all of a sudden not belonging. And I think people could apply their own lives on that.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very. It was received very, very well in festivals and in TV and the screenings and everything.
Yeah. I don't remember any of that either, actually.
No, but then the funny thing was that I think, I don't know. I want to ask you: is this after or before the film that? Then you came to Herjung actually.
It's after.
That was afterwards,
yeah, it's
right?
after.
And the great thing
because we became very good friends in this film. Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
And ever since, and no, it was after. Yeah, which was absolutely hilarious. I mean, there's so many funny things. I mean, no, it was great. Herjung is
but
an amazing
the thing
place.
was, what I wanted to tell about that, because I didn't remember if it was before or.
No, I understand. I think it was after. I mean, it must have been. It
because
we met, we did this, and I mean, how long
but
after?
Then you came to Herjung, and the thing was like this: was that Jakob, I really liked your method, and I was thinking about this before the show, that within 1 week somehow you became a guy who could have been from Herjung.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
it's
the interesting,
thing.
This is a different kind of method acting, that you actually go into the role
without having a role. I think so. I think this has to do with my the story of my life, which is so I was born in Sweden. When I was 4 years old, we went to Italy for 8 months, then back to Sweden, then Denmark, and then I also lived different places. But often I changed environment. When I was a kid, and I think it's a way of, you know, you just want to blend in, right? I think that's kind of where it comes from. I have it also if I meet people, say if I'm at some place and if I meet people from Scotland or something, then it'll go like in 5 minutes and I'll start like speaking to them like, you know, and without knowing that it could be offensive, but I just want to be part of the group.
Yes.
I guess it's, I don't know, chameleon thing.
Yeah, the chameleon thing. It's very interesting that we talk a little bit about that as the last thing, because then actually with this moment then in Herjung,
but I can remember with this Jakob character that I did, because that was all through talking with you and but I think. Because it wasn't that I was down in this town and checking out locals or anything. He was his own kind of, but we found something there that was. But other projects I tried where you go out and meet people who are the thing you were gonna do, and it always gives you something. You know, you should always do it.
But I think maybe that's why you also could do this film so well, because it's in a way it is a chameleon, right? That
sure.
He's somehow also this kind of, you know, trying to blend in.
I'm not a stranger. Yeah,
that he can't anymore.
And I think, not to say too much, but I think just I can say I'm not a stranger to being a stranger. You know, to kind of sum it up.
And that's a beauty, I think.
It is what it is, but it's that's just your life gives you certain destinies, and you know, and I think that's maybe one of mine is that because of all this moving around and. It's just because, you know, it's been a lot of kind of characters with this, I don't know, certain kind of solitude, I guess. I don't know. But it's also, you do one thing and it goes well, and then people often, when it's something, when it's similar, you have to try to be yourself. Also, just go with it. It's fine, but. Yeah, it's like, I think, kind of like painters doing, like, you know, there's a motive that's just, you know, you just keep going back to something. You do it as well in your writing and what you do. You kind of can. Often I think you can narrow it down to, you see, like, also all kinds of great directors, you can kind of narrow it down to, like, maybe they have one or two things that they really want to, you know, and that's what keeps coming, you know, and you keep doing it. And I don't know, it's like an endless
cycle.
We'll hope.
But the funny thing, I must say, so one last thing is that the special effects guy who worked with everybody, like Björk, was doing...
There's special effects in this film?
Yeah. But
Where?
you don't see it. It's so good, huh?
It's so good you don't see it. That is special effects. So
and he had done all kind of special effects also, like for Amazing Spider-Man and stuff like this.
Holy shit.
And he said when he saw the movie, he was like, I will do the special effects for you for free.
Wow.
If you let me do what Jakob do in the movie. And then there is this scene in the movie where he, like, I can't take this hypocrisy anymore, Jakob's character.
Yeah.
And you go bananas and kind of kick the gift table. With the gifts. And go bananas. Can't you see you're all hypocrites?
That's right. I'm walking the tables
and screaming to the girl, awesome. I love you. Can't you see what you have become, you fucks?
It's kind of Hamlet, actually. Right?
It's Hamlet.
Kind of Hamlet.
Look at you.
You're all hypocrites.
Yes.
I forgot that as well. I walked the tables.
Yeah,
it was a huge fucking...
Whipping the party, kind of.
I have to see this again soon, I remember.
And then he said, like, I will do this for free if you let me do what he's doing. I want to do what he's doing.
What, so you had to set up a table where you could kick?
We never got to do it.
Okay.
I said, okay.
But he did, huh? What's the special effect?
It's just some shakes in the violence parts. Shakes of the cameras.
That
you don't see, but you feel it.
No, I remember.
And also the
flashbacks,
the title
nice.
sequence and stuff.
Okay, cool. No, it's well done.
Yeah.
Because remember this flashback, it has this like with memory, it's kind of unclear. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
So me and Jakob, we went on to now it's like a Stand By Me movie. Like Jakob went on to become a successful actor, and I was we went on to do other stuff together.
Yeah, we haven't worked since. We've been close.
We have been working. But
we've been working and stuff. We never did shoot
manifest.
Anything. No.
And we hope that will happen
absolutely
sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody, thank you for listening. This is Made Unmade with Johan and special guest Jakob Cedergren.
A pleasure.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.